This is Beyond the 65, brought to you by talkSPORT Ireland.
We are back. Episode 3, Beyond the 65. Bubbles, we're back, and we're back with the famous podcaster Conor McDonald. Welcome back,
Famous
Con.
podcaster back. He finally made it to the studio.
Finally made studio. He was good enough for us this
got the
episode
call.
around.
We're staying home and away, like, you know.
Well, I should be at home today, so no, we're getting mileage. I got your mileage the last day,
that's
so
all
it's
right.
fine.
Fair enough.
Doubled up on that
Double
there
up,
in the end.
double up.
Conor, how's all been then anyway? Keeping well?
Yeah, grand, all good. Delighted to be back in the mix.
Back in the mix now as well. Back in the mix with a fairly famous pundit these days as well, Bubbles. You've enjoying the punditry?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good crack. It's enjoyable. You know, if you can make a bit of crack out of it, and you know, you go and watching good games, it's not too bad. So it's enjoyable. Something different.
Was it something you always thought that you'd go down that sort of route?
No, never. I was at home one Friday evening and I got a phone call saying that someone dropped out. Would you be able to come tomorrow? And they told me the figure, so I said, yeah, no problem.
And he gets in for free as well.
But I was down to Cork and Clare, I think was my first game, down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and it ended up being an unbelievable game. And they asked me then, would you have interest in doing any more? I said, sure, look, yeah, if there's something there, I'll do it, no problem. And it just went from there then. So it's enjoyable, it's a bit of crack, and you get to go to good games. Munster Championship games are very good. Leinster Championship games, not so good, but we won't say too much about that now.
We leave that off.
We had a little look there before we started recording here at some compilations of Bubbles on TikTok, and it seems to be going down a treat on GA Go. Compilations on TikTok and Instagram. He's a popular lad, isn't he, Conor?
Yeah, he surely is. Absolutely. It's going viral there and he doesn't even know it.
Doesn't even know it.
He knows alright.
You're not on social
He's logged
media,
in on the
Bubbles,
user
No,
34729 Bubbles.
giving you abuse in the comments.
Yeah. Who the fuck is that, lad?
And abusing myself.
Yeah.
One of the lads sent one on to me, alright, but that's the only one I've seen. I'd say it's the same person, because I've a few Cathal Barrett ones after being sent on to me as well, so I'd say it's the same person. That must be some young lad from Tip or something that's making them, because there apparently there's a few of me going around, there's a few of Cathal going around as well, so. But there's no point talking to me about TikTok, and he's the real TikTok and Instagram man now. That.
Well, we also came across a lovely one of him, didn't we? A nice compilation. What was that, Bubbles?
What was it? My confirmation was all about the hurling and stuff. Conor's was best looking GA inter-county
Someone
players.
has to do it, Bubbles. Someone has to do it.
And he was top of the list there as well.
Yeah. And posing the pictures as well.
Yeah.
Pressed down my head, I know what that photo is. It was after the Tipperary game in 19.
They picked a good one to go
Yeah,
by. So, Bubbles, obviously, the punditry now, enjoying it, getting a bit of buzz from it. When you were playing, would you have taken much notice of pundits? Would you have been watching the Sunday game after hearing what people are talking about?
Yeah, the Sunday game, you would, like, you go home, all depends on the match. Like, if you don't go for a few pints, like, you go home and you'd watch it. You wouldn't really take much notice of it, but you'd watch the highlights and stuff like that. You wouldn't really take too much notice of what pundits are saying. You know, I'm doing it now myself. I don't think too many players are going to be listening to me either. So, but look, you sit down, you watch the games, you go through it, and that's basically it. Like, you just, whatever lads are saying, you just take it with a pinch of salt. They're only giving their point of view. So I'm doing that now as well. So I'm on the other side of the fence. Bit different, but I find myself there because I hurled with Tip. Like, I find it hard to kind of criticise Tip and criticise the players and stuff that are there, because like, I've hurled with a lot of these lads, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there. Like, if you criticise them, then you're being harsh on Tip, and then if you don't, then you won't criticise them because of your own county and stuff. Like, so it's a bit tough like that, but it's enjoyable at the same time.
You're on the other side as a player and still playing. Like, do you listen to that punditry? Do you listen outside noise?
No. Again, you probably look at highlights, but once they've finished, it's. Look, I actually find that the lads who are, just after finishing, they actually have a better insight. And as you were saying there,
but
you've a better insight of like, what's maybe going on in the game at that time. Like, when we spoke about it before, people who are out of the game for a while now, it's like as if they're trying to clutch at straws now at times. I find. You might be watching a Munster game there, they could be talking at half time and you're like, what, they're like probably so far off where, do you know what I mean? Whereas if, the only one I would like give massive kudos to is Tommy Walsh. bang, just anytime he's off the cuff as if he's watching it with
brilliant,
two kids, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he seems to be what everyone wants to listen to. John Milan at times, well, RTE, like you'd be in the car there and you'd listen to him, like, and he's going crazy as if he's a proper fan. I think that's what I'd listen to him a bit more, just because it's a bit of crack, but the serious element of it, like, you never really read into too much, because realistically, when you're inside and you're training and your inner circles, like, you know what you're trying to do, whether you're doing it right or wrong or whatever. They definitely don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think for Tommy and John Milan, just the two that you mentioned, I think they're, like you said, they're not programmed to speak in a certain way.
Yeah.
They're speaking the way that they'd be speaking at home on the couch when they're watching the match and they're commentating the match. Like John Milan, like the energy that he brings to commentating, like, is absolutely brilliant. It's like he pucking every ball, like,
Yeah.
you know, and Tommy Welsh is saying, Tommy Welsh pulls out all these one-liners, like, you're thinking where he gets them out. But like, they're watching that and they're just talking as if they're talking to their wife's fad or you know, their own fad or whatever, sitting at home on the couch or in the pub having a few pints with the lads. Like, that's the way that they're speaking when they're doing the commentating. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I remember watching a game, or listening to a game, sorry, I was driving the car, listening, John Milan was on anyway, and I thought the game had started at 2:30, say, and it was in the thick of it, like 4 minutes gone in the game. It was 3 minutes past, or 3 or 4 minutes past 3, and I was like, what's going on? It was 2-1. But John Milan is like his lad is after scoring 2-1 in 2 seconds, like, you know. But it does, sure, and again, especially with the radio, like, you know, it's deadly because it gives you some sort of a picture. It might not even be what it looks like, but it's definitely excitement, you know.
He could be commentating on a match and it's absolutely dire. But
That's what I mean.
he'd make
One
it,
little
he'd,
thing
he'd
is
make
like,
it think
Jesus.
that's an absolute cracker.
You'd be driving quicker to get home and look at it.
Then the characters like that, are they still in the game? Like, obviously you're still in the change room, you're not long out of the change room. I feel like, I don't know if it's nostalgia, do they make them like John Milan anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose when John Milan was playing, like, I don't know about Conor now, but like, we would have, like, back in 2014 and that, like, we would have got media training, like, you know, lads would come in from the outside, you know, like, telling you, right, if they ask you this question, don't say this, or, you know, all this sort of stuff. Like, that only happened maybe once, like, and you were kind of left alone then, and most lads just wouldn't speak to the media, and then it's kind of the most popular lads that would be asked, then, you know, your captain and maybe the lad that played well that day and stuff like that. But like, it's very everyone, and I was the same. Like, you're asked a question after a match, it's like it's the same like
Generic answer.
jib and jab that you give. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, look, we know we're going to get a tough game here today. You're after winning by 40 points.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Oh look, we knew we were going to get a tough game today. You know, they're a savage team and all this sort. Like, everything is just the same. It's all. It's not that you're just programmed to do it, and I suppose you don't want to give too much away. Like, that's the other side of it. But John Milan, like, I remember, was it 2002 Munster final or Munster or All Ireland semi-finals? He got sent off in.
Yeah, the Munster semi-final.
Munster semi-final, and then, you know, I love
Lee
County.
County.
Like, you know, this kind of stuff.
What a
Like,
clip.
you know, that doesn't happen anymore. Like you know, lads gets. John Milan was lauded for that, but if lads said that now, like, they'd be slated. Like, you know, so they're afraid to say anything.
Yeah, but that's sort of the way I feel GA is now, though, isn't it? Like you can't really go outside the lane. You can't, you know.
It seems to be that way. I think anyway. I think it's just first of all, it's nearly an Irish thing. You can never just, God forbid, you express yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? It's particularly in GA. We're talking about outside there, even just like having to, you know, put yourself out there. You go to work every day, you might try to get a sale. You have to express yourself to get a sale in work, or like for me, I could be going into a principal there and trying to do everything you can to get something over the line. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't say anything then out of line, I suppose, like this and that, and we'll go next game, or we don't be thinking about playing All Irelands and all this kind of crack. It's just, I don't know, it's too rigid. We spoke about the game going very rigid at times as well, but I just think it's like it's nearly like the GA or that kind of whole atmosphere is just like a big, you're in now, and unless you're knocked out or you're retired, you can't talk.
Yeah, I got absolutely scared for it, like in 2016. Like, after winning All Ireland, a microphone and the camera up into my face 30 seconds after, like, and I said we're the champions of fucking Ireland. I had to go off and make apologies to.
You had to apologise for that?
Yeah, I had to do a live apology on RT the next morning in Crumlin Hospital. I thought I'd have to go to the president to apologise.
What?
Absolutely, swear to God that I remember after it, I brushed it off, and then you go out, you celebrate your All Ireland. Next morning, then county board delegates come up. Marty Morrissey comes up. Oh, look, RT are looking for you to do an apology. I'm just like, right, yeah, okay. If you just leave me alone, like I'll do it.
Yeah,
like,
do
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
But like people are saying that there's like, as you said at the start, there's no characters in the GA and stuff like this. A lad goes off then and he says something, you might call it a slip of the tongue or whatever, but like, leave it be. Like, I referenced at the time, Michael Conor was just after being robbed out of an Olympic medal in the Olympics. That was the week before I said it. Like, so I referenced that then when I was doing the apology. So Michael Conlon said it last week. So after being robbed of an Olympic medal and there was nothing about it, like, I'm after winning All Ireland, the camera put in your face after 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just give me a break, like, you know.
And in fairness, he didn't tell a lie, like, and Conlon went all in on
Yeah, he did,
IDJ,
yeah.
like, do you know what I mean,
Yeah.
at that time. But
so like things like that, then you're looking for characters, like, and you know, if someone comes out and says something then, or if someone comes out and criticises the referee, or you know, if Conor comes out and says, oh, that full back is nothing but a so and so, like, you know, you'd be criticised for it then, or you know, oh, that you're giving something extra to the opposition, or a referee isn't going to like it. So like,
It's a myth,
everyone's
though,
programmed,
isn't it? Like if you look across the water in the football, and you've the likes of Mikel Antonio and, you know, Callum Wilson, who are still Premier League strikers, and they do a weekly podcast. So like that whole myth, you know, they're elite level performance athletes, and you know, they're still able to go away and chat in it, like
yeah, well, they're actually talking about
current stuff.
how they got on at the weekend, like,
Yeah.
they're actually saying, like,
Yeah, what
I
they
come up
said
against
back,
Virgil
like-
van Dijk there, and he's unbelievable, like.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just seems, and I've felt like this for a good while now, even like social media, all that kind of stuff is nearly, it's all just frowned upon until it's not, like, do you know what I mean? So it's going to take a while now to break the mold, and I'd say the last generation of hurlers are probably able to give out about it now because they weren't exposed to it as much as what, say, the group now are, and then the next one it could be just absolute free for all, the same as like the football across the way or whatever.
But it's like it's social media, like it's the drinking culture and all this sort of stuff, like that. Like no matter what you do, like you're going to be wrong, like in the GA, like if you look at the rugby, like after every match, like whether both teams go over and go into each other's dressing room or not, but they're sitting inside in the dressing room, they're having a bottle of beer, like you see it after the World Cup. There's videos going around. Remember Canada went into the South Africa dressing room after the World Cup, like they all sitting there having a drink. Jeez, you go off and you win an All-Ireland semi-final and you're seen down the pub and you're like, oh, what's he doing in the pub? He should be preparing for an All-Ireland final in 6 weeks' time. Do you know what I mean? Like, like no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong, and like it's just, I suppose, the way the GA has always been, and it's going to take something massive to maybe change that culture, I suppose.
That social media thing, though, is probably something that the two of you probably arrived just as it was kicking off, and maybe the generation before you would have been able to maybe get away with something like that, or heading out to local for one after the match. Did you ever feel like, geez, I have to be a bit on the ball here in case someone sees me and, you know, picture taken or anything?
Oh, you know, like I find like, geez, there'll be times there the missus will put up a story there or something like that, and you might be out for dinner for her birthday or something, and you're like, just take that glass of wine out with it there. I mightn't even, it could be hers, like, you know what I mean? You're just like, you know the crack here. The amount of times I've said that, just take your cocktail out of that, like, because you know it's going to be perceived to be that way.
Yeah, 'cause
but
someone being the
that was probably early doors.
You're
for
sitting
me.
inside in a pub or restaurant with no drinks in front of you.
Yeah, yeah, load of water. But that is the way I used to probably think. Whereas now I kind of, the latter end, probably since COVID, I'd say all that kind of thing is just over the head kind of stuff, because no one really understands what you do on a Monday morning, or for 80% of your week or 80% of your month. No one has an idea what goes on inside the four walls of your house, whether your nutrition, your extra bit of training, if you're, you know, and I look at the drinking culture. Yeah, I think it's nuts, absolutely nuts.
But like Conor said, they don't know what 80% of what's going on, but they have an opinion on it.
Yeah,
You know, that's the other side of it. Like no matter what you do, like everyone's going to have a comment on it. Like, and it's just.
I remember actually being it was November time when I was going to a wedding. One of the club lads was getting married, and say it was in Wexford town, so we all went to this pub just before we were all getting a bus down, right? Came back the following day for day two, same thing, but it was in local place, so we were back in that pub, and then we're going up to our GA complex. The lad comes up to me, he says, "Jeez, you're out again?" Like this, like I was like, every time I'm out, you're here. What's going on? Like, and it's twice a year in this one spot. Like, but sure, it's just, yeah. It's look, I suppose for people coming up to you and stuff as well, it's like it's just an opportunity for them to say something that they would never say or can't say because they don't see you often enough. You know.
I actually got it today on the way up here. I was coming out of the shop after getting a coffee. Hey, go over to that fan there, will you, and tell your man he knows nothing about hurling. It's like, your man didn't say, well, how are you? How's it going? Or, do you know, your man's name over there is so-and-so. Can you go over and have a chat with him? I was just like, looked at him. I was like, no.
And you've never seen him in your life ever
I
before.
had no clue who he was. Like. Now,
God.
he might listen to this. You never know. So whoever you are, and I'm giving you a shout out.
There you go. You know nothing about him.
Have you had any of them mad fan interactions where, like you said there, is there anything else like that where you're like, did he actually come up or say that to me? Like, do you have them ones? Or you're spotted in a weird place? Holidays, have you been approached like for pictures and
Yeah, you'd be approached everywhere. Yeah, like no matter what. What you find is if you're with a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, like people won't come up to you.
Okay,
That's what I find. Like.
Yes, I don't know.
But if you're on your own, it's open season. Like they'll come up and they'll like they don't care. Like, and it's just
it's nearly a case I'm drinking bubbles tonight. Like, you know, if you're on your own, like,
but it doesn't even like. I'd be in work and I'd be in with a customer like, and I'd have people walking around after me, and then they'd come up to me and they'd be looking for pictures and stuff. It's like, lads, I'm trying to do my job here.
Sell something
Do you
here.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my job, and they're coming up like the pub is absolutely ridiculous. Like it, you know, I tend to just go to my local, and anything other than that, then you're just looking for trouble.
So yeah, it's people coming up, few points in them as well, and you know, wanting a little picture like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember on a flight there, I was going on holidays in March, and there was lads there and just kept on going. They were full to the neck, like, and all they wanted to do was talk about hurling. I was just sitting there, and I was like, lads, like,
I'm off the clock.
that's why I'm getting away. Like,
and the drunker they get, then the more they come up to you, like, you know.
Or they say you probably don't want to talk about hurling now, but and you're just like, exactly. Like,
But they mean well, like everyone means well. They don't, and they're like, oh, I don't want to annoy you now, but you know what you think of this, and all this sort of stuff, and it's just like, well, look.
Yeah, and I suppose you do get that probably everywhere, but do you remember the first times when that happened? You must have been buzzing though. Like, you know, first picture signed or first autograph, feeling like the man of it. When you were probably, 14 on the senior team or something?
no, like I think the year that like I probably made my debut, I was actually doing summer camps at the time, like, so it was like a thing that, geez, you're what's going on here, like, you know,
Cool camp ambassador.
cool camp, yeah. No, I was coaching. I wasn't that big yet. But no, I wasn't old enough probably to do that, I'd say. but yeah, no, those kind of things are nice as well. Like, you know, there's kids that come up to you, or even in the club or stuff like that. They don't know whether you're going bad or going well, or, you know, their father might say, "Geez, he plays for Wexford, or he's part of the club," and, you know, they're kind of nice interactions as well, like, you know. But and generally it is nice, like, you know.
Yeah, I suppose we're talking about the bad ones, like, but 90% of them are
Yeah,
good.
sound,
Like,
like,
you know,
yeah.
Really mean well, like,
You
as
only
well.
you only remember the bad ones, like,
Yeah.
you know. So that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
We even brought up the social media there as well, and I suppose you were saying the media training, and you know, you say this, say that. Have you ever wanted to? You're not on social media now, but have you ever wanted to bite back on social media on a comment or anything?
I don't care about it enough, to be
No.
honest with you, Luke.
Yeah.
Like, the grand social media is grand for few gigs and deals and yokes like that. Put up a story here and there for bits and pieces like that, or
What are they? I never got
you
any of them.
know well.
I don't. Go on, expand.
I know, but look, it's no, it's grand. I never paid much attention to it, to be honest. You know, and even kind of notifications and stuff like that, it wouldn't bother me too much. But I'd say my family, like my sister and mother, and at times, you know, if you're getting a bit of flack under a Wexford GA post or something like that, you know, it might they'd be saying right in the family WhatsApp, who's that lad? And all, you know what I mean? But other than
Move
that,
yourself in the family WhatsApp.
yeah, exactly. No hurling talk, but yeah, no, generally wouldn't bother me at all.
We're talking about all of this now, but I think people, you know, have their opinions on this. Like you were saying, they're removing cocktails from pictures, not wanting to be, you know, seen out and about. But the sacrifice, you know, that often 11 months of a year can't do anything like that, probably isn't spoken about a lot. And, you know, over the course of your career, and still for you now, it's missing out on stuff though, is it? Like stags, you know, wedding, championship season, like that must be awful, you know, FOMO, as people would say, like, to be missing out on that, Bubbles.
The amount of stuff you miss out on, like, is like the most is probably weddings, like. Now sometimes, you know, playing inter-county is probably a good excuse to get out of a wedding. You might want to go to it or whatever. But I remember, like, I was best man for my brother. Like, I done the best man speech completely sober because we had a match, and I was sober for my my 2 brothers and my sister, 3 of them got married, and I was sober for the 3 of them. 2 for inter-county, and then we had a county football final for my brother. And no drinking. It's just like, you're going home at 9 o'clock. You have to get into bed early. You have to fuel right. You're not eating the dinner that's there for you're getting a certain dinner and all this sort of stuff. And like weddings is the one that stands out. Birthdays, all this sort of crack. Like, but weddings are good crack, and everyone is kind of together. All your friends and everyone, and not being able to, I suppose, enjoy it the way everyone else is, like, was the biggest miss. Yeah.
Does it get easier? I know the more you're used to. Probably not though.
Probably the split season has probably helped a little bit, because the whole kind of inter-county used to go minimum to July, and then July, August time, and then your All-Ireland semi-finals and finals or whatever. But sure, the weddings is the standout one, really. Like, stags, there'll always be another stag, or there'll always be another 30th or whatever, but they're kind of a big one, because particularly if you're going, it's a family wedding, or it's like it literally is the only time it's going to happen. If it's a club mate or whatever, generally there'll be another lad 2 years time, and the same crew will be going to it. Like, family, like, is obviously an important one. Like, but yeah, like, sure, look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you're spending so much time trying to get to somewhere, Crow Park or whatever, for the big days. You have to sacrifice at some stage. Yeah,
I remember in 2019 actually, my cousin was getting married over in Scotland, so we flew over. We flew over on the Wednesday. He was getting married on the Thursday, and then I flew back then on the Friday to go to another wedding of one of my friends. So I drank at the one in Scotland. So I was given the go ahead by the manager to go over and enjoy yourself, whatever. But you're back here on Saturday for training. So that was the Thursday. Friday I had another wedding for one of the lads. I didn't drink at it. I was too hungover. I trained Saturday morning, and then I had another wedding on Saturday evening. Saturday after training. Like. But that training, like, so I was there. I was like, why did I bother spending all the money to go over to Scotland, hotels, all this sort of stuff, get pissed up, and then come back then and suffer for an hour and a half, like, and this was in December, like, so it's as if we're running around with a hurley in our hand, like, it was pure dogging, like, in fitness tests.
I'm only after thinking of something there now, like, and it's crazy. Like, I missed my auntie's wedding in Mayo, and I was kind of at the age, I was 11, so I was kind of between a page boy and a mini groomsman. Like, I missed the wedding, like, for an under 12 county final.
For an under 12. That's dedication. Yeah.
Mayo, my auntie in Mayo.
You've been missing out on weddings since 11.
Since 11 years of age. We won mine, so I was alright. It's actually the only underage medal I have. The only underage medal. We were beaten every single other final, generally by the same team referees. Liam Ryan, Kevin Foley. Disaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's one for you now. So jeez. It's kind of bred into you, like.
Yeah.
To have that memory is impressive. Yeah. I don't remember. I wouldn't remember anything back then.
Does missing out on that then, does it make the nights out then team wise, or when you are off, even better though? Would you appreciate them more? Because people be on out Friday, Saturday night, wouldn't even think of it though. Are them team nights out afterwards unbelievable?
Yeah, like, I suppose you can go out every night. Lads go out every weekend and stuff like that, and like, when you're in an environment like that, like with Wexford or Tip or whoever it is, like, you don't mind missing them nights out, like, because as Conor said, like, you're trying to get to Crow Park, you're trying to win an All-Ireland and stuff like that. When you get the occasion of, what would you have, maybe 3 or 4 nights out as a group together throughout the year, like, you might go off in a training camp and you might get a night out, like, they're the best crack that you'll ever have, like, the slagging that'll be going on. You'd be having sing-songs. You'd have 2 or 3 lads in the group that'd be delegated to, create crack or whatever, and come up with stuff, like, and quite often now there's a few of our lads now that came up with good stuff, like, so one of the best is Kangaroo Court, like, doing Kangaroo Court, like, and lads trying to. I remember my club, we done a naked photo shoot for
here we go
for Tipperary South Tipperary Hospice. And I remember like, it was a naked photo shoot, but like, everyone was there in boxers, but for myself then and Joe Mouse then, my cousin, 2 of us on the tip team, we were in the front row, and we said, lads, fuck it, come on. So I whipped it off, and all I had covering it was a shovel, so you and then it comes back to tip then about 3 months later in Kangaroo Court, this picture is pulled up then on the screen, and everyone look at it, and it's just like, all you can do is just laugh, like, so the crack that, because you're training so hard together, and like you're killing each other in training, no matter what time of the year. Like, you know, even when it's in the middle of summer and you're playing training matches, you're killing each other. And then the nights out then that you have together are absolutely unbelievable. Like, there'll be some crack.
Would management ever be on that?
Oh yeah, they would, yeah. Now they'd know they'd be there for a while, but they'd know then when it starts to get going, then that they need to get out of here, because some lad that isn't playing, or you know, someone is going to get brave and they're going to give it to him.
Yeah.
So they'd come for a few, and then they might say, right lads, look, the captain or whatever has a couple of quid there, buy a couple of pints, we're heading away. They wouldn't go home. They wouldn't go home or anything like that. But they just go somewhere else, like away from you.
Right.
If you bump into them then at 3 o'clock in the morning, then that's your own bad luck. I remember coming back into a hotel one, and we were told, right lads, back at 12:30, and about 10 of us arrived back at about 3:30, and I was sitting inside the door of the hotel, and the manager and the selectors, they sit legs crossed, just waiting for us to come in. No, they didn't say that. It was just more so, get up to bed now.
How about you, Conor? Any nights out then management would be a similar story for you? Or is there any?
They're like that. They're kind of they're there sipping away on a few bottles before they're asked, do you want to come up to the bar for a drink there, by an extended panel member or something like that, and you're just, why am I not on this team? Or, you know, but yeah, no, like, I think it's good as well. It makes, you know, everything is so serious from management to players at times. It's good for a management team as well to be able to mix with the players, you know, a bit of downtime as well.
David Fitz go cracking a night out?
Davies go crack always. Entertaining anyway. But yeah, no, we've had a few good ones with him. We right crack now. I think we beat Kilkenny in 17 or something. That was Davies' first year, and we went down to stores, and they just locked it like that. The whole place losing their mind, like outside, and they gave us the front bar there, which they normally wouldn't do, like, but just it was just carnage, like, and we had a right crack in there, and we went back in Leinster as well. It was late in 2019. It was kind of, are we going back here to get the lock in, basically, like, with everyone, and sure, just you're kind of just doing crazy stuff. You're sweating there, dancing, jumping around the place. There's, you know what I mean, and you wouldn't mind. You feel fresh next morning.
Oh yeah, you're
feel fresh.
Especially if it's after a match and you're after winning.
Yeah,
like,
you're flying then.
You're just there.
You're flying.
The adrenaline's still kicking in.
Yeah, and then, like, obviously if you go out then you mightn't be working or whatever. You go off to do a pool session or whatever.
Yeah.
You're flying then. Like, so like team sessions are right crack.
Who organises them, you know, weekends away or team bond and stuff like that? Is that a captain's job, or would that be coming from management now? Like, lads, we're going to go away for the weekend here. Does that even happen though, or like maybe new management, would that be ever a thing? No,
it'd be management, and like there could be a leadership group within the team or whatever. The management would argue, right lads, we're going to training camp. The leadership group then will go and say, look, yeah, we're going to training camp, we'll train hard, we'll do everything we need. We need a night out. And then that's grand. The manager might say, right, Luke, you're after looking for, you're the boss, you need to organise whatever. And then it's organising buses, it's organising whatever if you need to go somewhere. So it's but usually the management will just organise it and let you away for a few pints. And that's basically it. But you're given a curfew then.
Is it ever abroad? I feel like there's been stories of a few teams going abroad in more recent years. Did you ever get a trip abroad? Yeah,
I went on 4 training camps abroad.
Where were you going? So that is a regular thing then. You know.
Yeah,
we were in
Villamore for a few years. Is it?
What?
Was it banned for a couple of years or something? And then everyone just went anyway.
What?
I mean,
we actually went after we played Galway in a league game up in Galway, and COVID was here, and we played Galway on the Sunday. We stayed in Limerick. We went for a few pints in a local pub, and then we flew out then on Monday morning, and COVID was here.
Shannon.
Like, our doctor was saying, like, maybe you shouldn't go. Everything was booked, everything was paid for. So we went, like, and we went to Villamore every time, like, so we went just when COVID was hitting, and we got back, like, the shitstorm that we came back to.
Really?
There was media waiting outside the airport and everything, like, so we snuck out the back door, got onto the bus, got everyone dropped back to their cars.
That's why
and
it was
stuff
banned
like
then.
So it came from Bubbles and the boys.
Yeah, Bubbles and the boys out in Villamore. Didn't even train. They just went on the beer.
We actually didn't. Actually, all the training camps that I went to out Farn never had one night out.
Really?
No. And when I was in Albufeira in March, Cork were out there at the same time, and I met every one of the Cork boys out on the Saturday night.
Can I ask, and this might sound stupid, what's the point? You're never going to be playing in that heat over here. What's the point in the warm weather?
I think it's more so kind of team morale, getting everyone away.
Right.
it forces lads to like book their time off work. It's not, you know what I mean? Like it's more that kind of thing,
Okay.
and dedicate full time. Like say if you go on a camp and you're staying in Wexford for talk's sake, you know, it's easier probably to stay at home like I'm away rather than being like I'm down in Ferns for 4 days and they were like, well, you just come home at night, like, you know.
It's getting a body of work done as well. Like
Yeah.
it's three sessions a day for the 4 or
And
5
even
days
tactical
over
stuff,
there.
like
And it's all like 3 sessions a day. One of them sessions might be just walkthroughs and stuff, and then you get meetings done. You could have 2 meetings a day. You know, it's just being in each other's company the whole time.
yeah.
What are their meetings like? Can they?
It's heavy enough going, like mentally.
Well,
It's heavy enough.
it
going.
is, especially when you're not used. Like it's basically just professional sport for 5 days. Like, and
Yeah.
how professionals are, and like we were in Villamora every time, and like the setup there with our own kind of complex. Like it's unbelievable, but it's tough going.
Try
you
to
know.
tell the missus that when you're arriving back home with a little bit of a tan, like it's not great either. So there's some tactical work done there. Yeah.
Yeah, we were having meetings outside in the grass, and we're just all lying off with no clothes on.
Yeah.
Just a shovel.
What's the weather like? It's not great. There's overcast there.
You mentioned the tactical meetings and that sort of thing. So I think when people think of training now in the county, they think of the vigorous physical routines. How much is that still a thing? Like, how many sessions would you have of now analysis kind of a week type thing, and what are they like?
There's a lot.
I find it fair tough.
Is it looking at
It's just-
yourselves or
it's just-
them or both?
It's both, like, but it's just mentally draining that you could be after having an hour and 20 minutes of a session and you're coming in then, right lads, this is only going to take 10 minutes. An hour and a half later you're still sitting there. It's 11 o'clock and you come out of the dressing room after watching videos. Like, you know, it's mentally it's very tough. Like, it's I'd find them nearly tougher than training sometimes, like, because it's just, you know, you come in after training, right, jeez, I'll get home now at 9:30 or whatever, and then you're not leaving till 11:30, and then when you're in college then you drive back down to Cork and stuff. Like, it's just it's tough going, but you'd have probably, I don't know, you'd have 1 a week, maybe 2 a week, depending on the time of season.
Who's it catered towards? I feel like, do you feel like that would help your game now, like still, like as forwards, or is it? I nearly have a picture in my head. It's like, right, this is what their dangerous players are going to do. This is what they're like now from a puck out. Does it? Would you change the way you play depending on who you play against from that analysis?
No, I think it's more setups, isn't it? It's more how they set up and
Structures,
what
yeah.
what they do on a poke out more often than not, kind of thing. It's not, rather than talking about individual players. Like, do you know the way it's say, you know, soccer, they might just zone in on one player, like if you like, and everything flows through this person or whatever. It generally is poke outs, what they're doing on the breaks, how they're setting up in the forwards, and who's like generally going to start.
Yeah, that's basically it. And if you're talking individually, then it's just basically, oh, he needs to be nailed. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you get on a right. Luke, you're picking up Conor. He needs to be nailed. That's it. End of story. There's nothing else spoke about it. Like, it's all just structures, what they do for this puck out, and, you know, this signal on a puck out is this and all. Like, it's like some lads be sitting there, like they just be they'd be counting how many cracks are in the ceiling and all this sort of stuff. Like, you know, some of it, like, but look, it has to be done as well. Like, that's the way it's gone. Like, it's
that would only kick in from
another
the
side of
championship, would
professionalism.
it?
Like.
Only from the championship maybe start, would it? Or would you
I don't
hardly do it for a
change
league?
the league now.
You're
No,
doing it for a
because
league, would you?
You'd be watching videos of it, but then you'd have stats of every matchup then. So your first league game might be up on the wall, like, individually, tackles, scores, whatever, dispossessions, all this, and then you have to watch it then. So you're sent individual clips, then you have to do as a team. Like, you could spend hours doing it at home yourself as well, like, before you come in to have your homework done, like, you know, because if you're asked a question, you don't have a clue what's going on. That's the other side of it, like.
And then on the other side of that as well, obviously you have the experts doing their analysis on that. As a senior player, can you then be like, oh, I don't agree with that, I don't think we should do that? Would you have much of that back and forth, or just simply just, you know, accepting what management's saying there?
Ah, yeah, sure. Like, it has to work that way, because I think if it doesn't, or the feedback that they might highlight something and they'll say what happened there, like, do you know, or what's going on here, or how do we counteract this, or, do you know, I think that's the best, just the only way that keeps everyone engaged really as well is opening to the floor. Like, you don't want someone dictating there on the laptop, bing, 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 bing. Here's, you know, you want a bit of engagement with the players as well. Or for reviews, like, I find it's good to be reviewing what's going on and, right, bang, this happened like 4 times in a match. Why does it keep happening? Or, you know, if there's a certain player that's involved in 3 out of 4 plays, how does it keep happening on your side, or, you know, that kind of way. But yeah, it's just it can be monotonous at times. But the more they engage the players and they're snappy about it, it does have a good purpose. Like,
how quickly can that game plan go out the window on a big day? You know, a packed Semple Stadium or Nolan Park or Crow Park, you get out and you're like, geez, what the fuck are we meant to be doing again?
Yes, but for me, I was never involved really in too much structure or setup. Like, I was more often than not told to go out there and hurl away, kind of a thing. Like, now when I came out centre forward and stuff, it was obviously different. Like, but when you're inside corner forward, you need to get out this far for the puck out and then get straight back in. That's the long and short of the details. That inside forward, get back, 5-6 years ago, whatever it was. But like, especially when you're playing the likes of Kilkenny, like the game just takes over. Like, and you can have all the setups and structure and the way you want to play, and then like a high ball comes down, you catch it, and all you want to do is just drive it a mile. Like, so, but I wouldn't have been given too much detail, so I wouldn't. And I doubt you were given too much detail either. Standing on the edge of the square.
No, I think probably the only time really that was really drilled was with Davey at the time when he first came in, and it was literally every training session was bang, 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 and you just knew. So that when it came to a game, in fairness, it's literally, if you were asked a question, you just know the three answers, like, that kind of way. Like,
what were they? What was that style?
Well, we were playing a sweeper, like, and it was a huge running game that we were playing, and it could be anything, but it could be anything. But in that time, like, we would have went through it, like, as much as video analysis. Like, we probably would have went through stuff on field, the run throughs, like, and that's kind of where you get it more so than you would. But again, you play certain teams, and it just takes a life of its own, whereas other teams would be sitting back or trying to counteract what you're doing, and that's where the video kind of comes in. But in terms of being drilled on the field and atmosphere and implementing what you do, and we actually done it through our training with more so with Davey than we would have maybe through video. Like, but that's just management style as well. Like,
yeah, it's becoming more and more popular now. Like, people are training around structures and stuff. Where, like, I suppose 5 or 6 years ago, we were training just, I suppose, to train. Like, most stuff now is game based scenarios and stuff like that, and you're trying to create stuff that's going to happen in a match. So like I'd imagine that most inter-county teams now, they'd have their hard work done by the time March comes around, and then it's basically just watching videos and how we can open up a Wexford or open up a Limerick. Like, so it's completely different now to even what it was back in 2019. Like.
What you used to say about Bubbles at the wire when you're coming up against him? What Davey had to say about him?
Run up the other end of the field, Sean Murphy.
Run at that lad. Do not let him get the ball in his hand.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Conor.
No. He might play.
Lads,
we tended to have Paddy and Jim Barry and all them back there, so we were happy enough.
yeah, well sorted back there. Lads, we leave it there for this episode. Thanks again for joining me.